Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Today I wanted to follow on from my previous video, which was my Xbox 360 collection, or at least what remained of it. Today I want to show you all my PS3 games. Calling it a collection might be an overstatement, but then again it's not a small amount of games either. With that being said, I may very well split this video into two parts, so just be aware of that and check the description below for the link to part 2. So without further ado, let's get straight into the first one, and it is the largest game that I have. Well, it's in the largest packaging, and that is the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 remix, which I'm fairly sure I unboxed. I will link it if that's the case. I've still got this one, and to be honest with you, I haven't even started the second lot yet. I got part way through Kingdom Hearts 1, and that's pretty much as far as I got, I think, because it came out at a very awkward time of year, Christmas, when I tend to get lots of games for Christmas, so I can only play one at a time, right? Not to mention, I actually got Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 as Christmas gifts about 9 years ago anyway, so I've played them once before. I didn't feel like there was an insane rush to play them again, but it's nice to have it. So whilst in the realm of Kingdom Hearts, I also still have a copy of this. Why, you ask, when I have this one, which has both 1.5 and 2.5? Well, truth be told, I didn't see the need to get rid of it because I think the trade-in value was something ridiculous like £2, so that was not worth getting rid of. And my brother likes these games too, so I figured he might want to borrow this someday, or even his girlfriend. Anyone who wants to borrow it can, so it's there for the taking. The next game is a weird game, and it is Catherine. I really like Catherine. The only downside to this, again, is it's a Region 1 copy. I saw that this was going to be released, but no UK date, and I thought, it's a weird Japanese game by Atlas, it could go either way, so I bit the bullet and I pre-ordered it from Canada by some guy on eBay, and I could have got this, or I could have got the sheep box version, or I've forgotten what it's called, the stray sheep edition, but I didn't because it was going to be big and I thought maybe I might have to pay import on that. Anyway, so that's why I've got a Region 1 copy, because I didn't think it'd come to the UK, and 6 months later, lo and behold, it did. And I thought, I really can't afford to buy a second copy at this moment in time. And what, 5-6 years later on, I still haven't bought a UK copy, but I've got it anyway. And it also came with sound disc and art book. And it's not really an art book. There's not an awful lot of art in there. So I've got Catherine. Highly recommend it if you like puzzles. This is primarily a puzzle game, and then everything is animated like anime. Or the cutscenes are all anime, and yeah, it's great. I think this is a very unique game and I really do recommend it. The next couple of games I'm going to do together, and that is Tales of Xillia and Tales of Xillia 2. These are both really, really good games. I enjoyed them both thoroughly. As I said in my previous video, Vesperia was the first Tales game that I had played, and I enjoyed Vesperia so much that I have played every single one since. Actually, that's a lie, I haven't played Symphonia HD, so forget that. These, again, I really do recommend as far as video game sequels go, because, again, Tales isn't a series well known for direct sequels. They actually go together really well. The storylines do continue on from one another. The only thing they did change, actually, I think, was the levelling up system. It was only slightly different. It wasn't crazy different. But even still, I digress. I really do recommend these two games if you've not played them already. But if you're an RPG fan, the odds are that you have. And as you can see, these are both Day 1 editions, because I pre-ordered them. I'm going to do these two together as well, because they're both by Suda51, Grasshopper manufacture. And that is Shadows of the Damned and Lollipop Chainsaw. I played these both once before already on my Xbox 360. In fact, I even think I 100%ed this. Like, I got like the whole 1000 points or whatever. And I loved them. But these are both completely different games from one another, might I add. But they both have underlying goofiness. So you can tell that they come from the same creative mind, because they've just got some utterly ridiculous themes that run throughout, but they are both effectively like zombie horror, monster. Maybe that's not even the right way to describe them, but this is basically a third-person shooter. It's like Resident Evil 4, but funny. And then you've got Lollipop Chainsaw, which is like a hack and slash kind of amazingness. And I really do recommend them both. They are both very good games. So I'm going to do these three consecutively. So the first one is Wet. As you can see, it was 3 for £2. No, it wasn't. 3 for 2, duh. So basically you get one for free, or the cheapest one for free. And look how cheap that was. This game, I think, got quite a few mixed reviews when it first came out. Again, this is another game I first played on the 360, and I really, really liked it. And then I started playing it again last year on the PS3, and I still enjoyed it, but I can appreciate now why people gave this a little bit of beef, because the aesthetics of the game are great. I love the kind of theme. It's almost very Quentin Tarantino if he were to make a video game. The only thing that did let it down is the fight mechanics. For the most part, I liked the fight mechanics, but playing it on the PS3, I realised just how clunky and slow. It's not smooth and fluent like in my head I thought it was. So if I had to give it like a rating out of 5, it would probably be somewhere in between like 3.5, something like that. I do recommend people trying it, especially if you can get it for like that sort of price, then go ahead and try it. But I wouldn't put it down as one of the greatest PS3 games of all time, definitely not. So in with that 3 for 2 bundle, I also picked up Hitman Absolution, another game I had played before already on the Xbox 360. I think I 100%ed this one as well, like I got my 1000 points, so I hope to platinum this one day. But I got part way through it. I think I got to Chinatown. That's it. I think I got to Chinatown. I digress. Hitman Absolution was the first Hitman game I'd ever played, and although I've been trying to play the most recent Hitman game, I can appreciate why this was a bit of a standalone thing. It is very different to its predecessors, but I really like stealth games. I absolutely love stealth. I really do recommend this, especially if you've never played a Hitman game before, or a stealth game of any description. I think this is a really good starter game for people to try out. So the third game I got in that little bundle was Bulletstorm. Again, another game I had already played before, and that's how I knew I liked it already. This is a very nothing special actually, if I'm honest. It's a first person shooter, but it's got a nice fluid movement to it. And you've got, what is that thing? It's like some sort of electrical pulse thing, and you can basically but stun your enemies to a point where you just get a ridiculous high score. Okay, so alright, I don't really remember a lot about the game, I must admit, but from what I do remember, I know I really liked it. And again, this is just maybe something fun you could play when you haven't got anything else to play. It's a laugh. I really enjoyed it. Alright, next one I'm a bit hit and miss with, and that is Splatter House. It's not a bad game. Well, actually, it kind of is a bad game. I think it struggled a lot with the loading or with the frame rate, or I'm not really a technical person, as I'm sure you've come to realise by now, but it was very slow and jarred, and that really let it down, because everything else about the game, the general flow of the game really is to my liking. The theme's cool, music's rad, it's got some rad music on there. It even includes the originals, I think, but it is unfortunately a letdown in terms of how it performs. So I really couldn't recommend this. If you've already got a copy, then you probably know what I'm talking about. And if you're wanting to get a hold of a copy, don't pay a lot for it. I know it's hard to get a hold of now, but if you maybe try and find someone who's willing to lend it to you, or if you can rent it. Is there anyone that rents games out anymore? So yeah, I wouldn't recommend paying as much as what I did for it, basically. Next up, we've got a game I have yet to even play. Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z, however you want to pronounce that. And basically, you get to play as a zombie ninja, as far as I can tell. Again, every intention of playing this at some point. I did play Ninja Gaiden Black, I think, on the Xbox 360. ages ago, and it was damn hard. I found it very hard, but I figured as time goes on they've probably made this a little bit easier, so to draw in a wider audience. So I can't make any recommendations because I'm yet to play it. Next up is God of War Ascension. Unfortunately, I have yet to finish this. I am stuck at a certain point. You basically got to go up an elevator, or at least a Grecian form of elevator, and fight waves and hordes of enemies, and I'm struggling. This, I suppose, is what I get for putting things on hard difficulty all the time. But yeah, it's no different to any other God of War game, if I'm quite honest. I didn't find it any worse and I didn't find it any better. I found it pretty much equal to all the other God of War games I had played up until this point. So I do recommend it if you can find it cheap. I'm not going to waste your time with this one for too long. Star Ocean, The Last Hope, and this is the international version that was released for PS3 about a year and a half after the Xbox 360 copy. If you watched my 360 video, then I've pretty much already voiced my opinions on this game on there. However, the difference with this copy being frame rate and loading is not an issue whatsoever. It's all on the one disc. Well, it was on one disc. It's in the console. It's only got a singular disc, so you haven't got to worry about swapping out that. And if you're trying to find an online walkthrough for this, good luck, there isn't one. Not really. A lot of people just assumed, oh, I'll use the Xbox 360 guide, it'll be the same. Not quite. Some of the treasures have been swapped around, and some of the skill manuals aren't where they should be. But apart from that, you will get past it if you just prepare yourself for that information. All in all, good game. I recommend it 150%. Right, next up, we've got pretty much all of the Atelier games you could get on the PS3. So, is it Atelier? Atelier? I say Atelier because I thought it was French, but maybe it's not. I don't know. We will go through very quickly. Very, very quickly. They are all pretty much the same in mechanics, so I won't really go into that. You've got Rorona and Rorona Plus. Same game, not sequels, same game. This is like an updated, slightly tweaked version, and this is the original. Honestly, I can't remember the difference between the two. I bought this so many years ago and I haven't played it for so long. I can't remember what it is they changed in this version to make it better. I think if you're into these sort of games, and by that I mean, for the most part, you are synthesizing, you are going out and collecting materials to synthesize items to complete tasks on a scheduled basis. So in-game, you've only got a certain amount of time to complete each and every task. And that's said for every single game. And there is a battle system, and I must admit, I think the battle system for these two games weren't very good. I did not really like them all that much, but the others are better. Okay. These two are part of a trilogy. Okay, so we'll move on to the second one, which is Atelier Totori, and I've played even less of this one. I didn't play this for very long at all. I think it was around Christmas time, and for whatever reason, I just did not have time. I think this was back in the day where I was accumulating games quicker than I could play them. So that was my fault. Same thing, you go out, you synthesize that stuff, you fight creatures. Must admit, can't remember the battle system, whether it's slightly different to Rorona or not. So that's Totori. And then Meru, the best one out of that trilogy, might I add. It really is the best. If you're looking for a good walkthrough for this, there's a lovely girl called Nikki. Her channel is Chocolate Milk. She did probably the best walkthrough ever, and pretty much the only one in English for this game. I'm going to link that below because I really do think if you want to play this, you kind of do have to follow a walkthrough if you want to find how to do certain items, or if you want to find certain monsters, or all that kind of stuff. So yeah, these Atelier games, I recommend. They are not for every player, mind. If you are into hardcore JRPG stuff, this probably isn't for you 100%. And now these two, this is Atelier Aisha and Atelier Shally. These two are also part of a trilogy, but the Esker and Logi one, I 100% in a platinum, and I sold that one. But that one was the best. That was my favourite. But these two are just as good, and these vary slightly from this trilogy. They did make the synthesis, I think, slightly better. the criteria that you have to hit to make the item better. So for example, you might want to up certain attributes. They made that so much more easy to do, or at least a little more easy to understand. And the battle systems, I think, are much better. You can use all your characters. I recommend these just as much as in fact, I might even recommend these ones more than this trilogy. Because as you can see, the art style is so pretty. Because it's pretty much like that in-game as well. It's lovely, and I love these games so much. And I will probably only ever get rid of them if I can platinum them. But on that basis, I will never, unless I do that, I won't be getting rid of them. Right, so these are the last few that I'm going to do for this part. And that is the Mega Dimension Neptunia Hyper Duper Super, I forget how these, alright, sorry. Hyper Dimension Neptunia, Hyper Dimension Neptunia MK2, and Hyper Dimension Neptunia 5. Victory. I really can't say much about these games because I've not played enough of them, but they are weird. I mean, they are super duper weird. Bought them because they were different. They were retailing at the same price as most other games, and now they're probably worth more because they're not overly popular. NIS America, or at least NIS in general, their games get a hard time over here in the UK because they only release like a certain amount, I think, and then that's it. Once they've sold out, they've sold out. But these particular games, again, I've kept them for the most part being that I know if I get rid of them, I probably won't be able to buy them back when I want to. But as far as games go, I don't really know whether I recommend them or not. They are very strange. If you're into all these like anime, cutesy, kawaii, sort of weird, slightly perverted games, then yeah, knock yourself out. Why not? If you can get hold of them, then do it. But so that brings us to the end of part 1. I will be recording part 2 straight after this. My hair might look a bit different because I'm actually going to get a haircut in between. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon.